Welcome to Built to Grow, a podcast for window replacement companies. This is a podcast for you if you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand. As we all know, post-COVID things have changed a little bit. We went from these insanely long lead times to things getting more or less back to normal. I know some of you still have some lead time problems, but for the most part, we're back to normal. And so the big focus has turned again on to getting new clients, getting as many in the door as you can. So today I want to talk about Google Ads, because whether you're doing it in-house or hiring a marketing agency, almost all window companies at least at one point have run Google Ads because they are amazing when they work. Now, they've gotten obviously more and more competitive over, the last 5 years or something, especially post-COVID. Once those lead times came down, people really started trying to expand, and it's become where the cost per click can be outrageous. We've seen window companies spending $60 to $80 per click, which is absolutely insane. And they think the solution is, hey, just throw more money into it and that will fix it, which, it does to an extent, but there are ways to get your cost per lead down, your cost per click down significantly without just spending more money. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So we've been running window ads since 2020 for window companies. Today we'll go over the pros and cons of Google Ads and essentially how to beat out the competition that are willing to spend more. It's amazing how we can get smaller or even larger window replacement companies to have their ads shown the most, to be in that top position while they are bidding less per click or they are spending less than their competitors. Like I said, it's 100% possible if your ads are set up correctly. And that last part is the secret to Google Ads that most window companies don't focus on. They want more leads. Like I said, they just throw more money into it instead of optimizing or figuring out the quality score, which is a huge part of that and what we'll touch on a lot. What we've seen when this is done correctly, like if a window company's Google Ads have a low quality score and we get them to a 7, 8, in rare cases a 9, it's a 1 out of 10 score, and getting to a 10 is almost impossible. A 9 is stellar. You are kicking ass if you have a 9. And we've seen that reduce the cost per click and in turn reduce the cost per lead by as much as 103%, which is mind-blowing. If you could spend what you're spending now and get double the amount of leads, like that's a game changer for most window companies. And it's 100% doable. So first, a few things to go over with Google Ads compared to Meta ads, TikTok ads, Yelp, Reddit, ChatGPT. You can run ads on there now, which is interesting, but they are trying not to go bankrupt in the next couple of years. Google Ads is typically the hardest platform to get right. One, because of how competitive it is. Like the number one place people usually go to spend their advertising budget is Google. And then second is Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. It's also the most complicated by far. The other side of that is you're getting to homeowners, and if you are set up correctly, you're getting to homeowners that are looking up best window replacement company near me, best window replacement company Seattle, stuff like that. We see a lot of times window companies coming up for searches like, how do I replace my own windows and stuff like that, which is just a giant waste of money because they're obviously not planning on hiring somebody. And then there's the darker side where some window companies will put in competitors' names and try to steal their competition, or they will go to the competitors' ads and click on it a bunch of times so they get charged and they run out their entire budget. And there are fraud protection softwares that we obviously use, highly recommend that you use to prevent those kind of things. If you're spending a ton of money, getting a bunch of clicks but no results, it can be a lot of things, but one of them is competitors messing with you. We see this a lot in the LA and Dallas area. It is extremely cutthroat, especially in Dallas, one of the most cutthroat markets we've seen. But again, the good is you're getting to homeowners that are actually looking to get their windows replaced. And then if you use retargeting with Meta ads, bumps it up to a different level. But again, it is the most complicated. So first, there's two different modes in Google Ads. There's smart mode and then there's expert mode. If you haven't manually changed it into expert mode, you're in what's called smart mode, and it's much easier to set up. You just answer some questions, put in your budget, and Google does the rest from there. The issue with that is that you're letting Google essentially take the wheel and do what it sees is going to be best. And what Google is going to see as best is what is the best for Google, not necessarily what is the best for you. It's going to get you as many calls, as many leads as possible, but it does not care the quality of them, which is a huge thing. You can get cheap leads like that, but again, the ratio for cheap leads to setting appointments, for better leads setting appointments, the math doesn't work out in the end. You want better leads, obviously, at a low cost. So if you're not in expert mode, highly recommend running ads in there. The downside is that is where the learning curve comes in. It becomes a much more complicated process that needs to be adjusted pretty much weekly. But if you get this right, this is how you can beat out competitors. This is how you can get your cost per click and your cost per lead down significantly. So it is 100% worth investing into expert mode in Google Ads. Now, this is one of the very few times I recommend, unless you have a permanent Google Ads expert in-house that already knows this stuff, I always recommend hiring somebody that knows the window industry to do this, just because how much time they're going to spend, because of how long quality score takes to reflect, and then how much time it's going to take. It's worth just hiring a company that knows what they're doing to do this. It saves you time, it saves you money. Like meta ads, I think anybody can learn. Smart ads, I think anybody can learn if they want to put the time into it, which, most of the window companies we work with don't. They just want it to be done by professionals that work from day one. But if you are going to run Google Ads, expert mode is the way to go. Now, what I really want to focus on is quality score, because that is the game changer. A lot of people haven't heard about it. It's kind of wild at Google. And when people talk about Google Ads, they don't bring this up more. They always talk about the copy, the targeting, all that kind of stuff. But quality score is huge. So what quality score is essentially Google gives you a score between 1 to 10, and it takes in your ad relevance, the landing page experience or the website experience, and the expected CTR, which is the click-through rate. Essentially, Google estimates of how many people see your ad, how many are actually going to click on it. So let's go through these, because again, if you can get your quality score right, you're golden. So ad relevance, the first one. This measures how close your ad is to what people are searching for and what keywords you use. So if you are, let's say you put in home window replacement and somebody looks up window replacement near me, it's not an exact match. The quality score is going to be okay. Now, if somebody puts in, how do I install my own windows, and your ad is popping up, you're obviously going to have a very low quality score because those do not match. And that's why keyword management is so important. A lot of people think it's about having the most keywords as possible. It's really not, because that kills your quality score. You want your keywords to match what people are actually looking for when they are looking to get their windows replaced. So the next one is the landing page experience or website experience, depending on which one you're sending them to. A landing page is just a one-page website meant to convert traffic into leads. We like using landing pages versus websites because, one, you can split test them very easily, and two, they're just built to convert. Like where a website is more informational, people obviously can become leads, but a landing page is strictly built to convert people into leads. So how this goes, in simplest term, Google crawls your landing page, your website, and then learns everything about it. And so what it takes into account is how close to the landing page and the copy, the words on it, how much does it actually match the ad? Like, how relevant is it to the homeowner that looks up home window replacement near me? What does the metadata say? What does the H1 tag say? What does the description say? Do they all match what the person is searching? Now, another part of this is how your website or landing page actually looks, how fluid it is, how fast it loads, how mobile friendly it is. Google takes all of these things into consideration when they are giving you the landing page experience score. So having a good landing page that matches what the ads say, that matches what the homeowner is actually searching, is a huge part of this. And the last is the expected CTR, so the expected click-through rate. Again, that's of how many people see your ad, how many are going to click on it. Now, the thing I don't like about this is it is the least out of your control, essentially. Google estimates how likely someone is to click on your ad when it shows one of your keywords based on previous experience and previous performance. So it is the hardest for you to control, but it is one of the three. So making sure that is up there is good. And the more experience and the more data your account has, if it sees that you've had previous high expected click-through rates, Google thinks the ad you're about to run or are running matches the other ones, it will give you a good click-through rate score. So if you get these things right, you can beat out your competitors that are willing to spend more cost per click and more cost per lead. The biggest thing is cost per click. They're willing to spend let's say $30 per click, you're willing to spend 20. Well, if you have a higher quality score, what Google thinks is that people are going to click on your ad more. So if you get 2 clicks where the other person gets 1, Google makes more money, which is why they're willing to do that, and why quality score again is so important. So when you launch your ads, you'll get a quality score between 1 to 10 on each of the keywords that you've used. And anything under 5 needs to be worked on immediately. That is not going to get you a boosting from Google. Your goal is 7 and above. If you can get all of your quality score above 7, you're golden. Obviously, 8 and 9 are awesome, but we don't see a lot of companies doing their own ads or even hiring marketing companies that get it above a 7. Most sit between a 3 to 6. So if you're at a 7 or above, you're golden with this. Again, it saves so much money and gets you so many more leads. Now, here's the bad part of quality score and why it's so important to get it right the first time. You don't get your quality score immediately. Quality score, to get an actual stable one, takes typically 4 to 8 weeks, which sucks because if you get this wrong the first time, you have to wait that 1 to 2 months and then you have to rebuild the ad. And you'll initially get a quality score within about 48 hours typically, but it's going to change. Typically, you'll get one within 48 hours. It can take up to 2 weeks to get an initial quality score. It's going to change in the next 4 to 8 weeks. But that's why it's so important to get these things right the first time, making sure everything matches between the keywords, the ads, the landing pages, like home window replacement, if that's one of the keywords you're going to use, needs to be in there essentially on all 3 of those aspects. In the copy, in the metadata, in the ad, in the keywords, and that will get you a good quality score. And so one of the biggest mistakes we see is window companies that'll get a quality score of a 3 or a 4 after 2 to 3 days. They'll shut it off. If they would have just let it run over the next couple of weeks, that would have gotten up to an 8. We've actually seen that happen. We had a company that we work with just a couple of months ago that we initially launched it, had a 5. They're like, hey, we need these rebuilt. Like, just let it go. I promise it'll be fine. And after a month, it was up to an 8 and they were ecstatic. But one of the worst things is to have that knee-jerk reaction, like, oh man, my score is low. We need to rebuild these immediately. Because what happens is you just keep building lower and lower scores because your expected click-through rate goes down. And then you're forever in the learning phase of the ads and you're not doing anything and you're just wasting money. And nobody wants to waste their time and money to try to get a better quality score when it was there all along. You just didn't wait long enough. So there are a ton more parts to running Google ads, but I wanted to give you something today that you could take and immediately use. If you're in Google ads, go to where your keywords are and you'll see your quality score. Like I said, if it's under a 7, you have some work to do. If it's under a 5, you have some all hands on deck. We need to get this changed, especially if they've been running over 2 months. So if you have any questions about that, or you would like us to take a look at your ads, you can shoot us a message on Instagram under the name Window Marketing Pros, or you can go to our website, and I'll see you on the next one.